Okay, so for this video is going to be the first of a few videos all about my CNA experience. So what I'm going to kind of go over this one is that I live in Texas and they're changing the prerequisites before you even apply to nursing school, what you have to do. So you do have to take some like regular college classes, the basics, and some anatomy and physiology. But now they're changing it to where you have to have your CNA license. So my college, thankfully, they offer it as a night class. And it was Monday through Thursday at like 6. And you either stayed till 8 or 10, depending on what you were doing. And then on Saturdays in the morning at 8 to 12. So that was easy because I still had to take other day classes. So that's what I decided to do. And it was around $700. So, which is kind of expensive on top of paying for other classes. But in the long run, I kind of waited out because if I decided to go and try to work at a nursing home and, you know, go and get my license through them, it's like usually like a 2 to 3 week course and you get paid for it. Awesome. But you're learning to that facility and you're not learning to like what the state actually requires. So, and also the teachers, we had 2 teachers that taught the class. And they were also our nursing instructor teachers. So you were also getting on good terms with the nursing teachers that you would hopefully have in the future. And they'll also write you references for other colleges or even a job. So I thought that was a big thumbs up. So I went ahead and did it. So went and signed up in December before classes were out. And, you know, you just had to fill out a sheet saying, hey, I had my flu shot and I'm up to date on all my shots. And just to make sure you had to go take your TB test and make sure that you were negative, or even if you were positive, they just had to figure out if you were carrying it or if you came in contact with it. So gave that in before the end of December, and the lady told me, hey, you know, we have spots open, it looks like it's not filling up, so I'll call you in January and let you know what's up. So, didn't really hear much over Christmas break, so I went ahead and when you had to buy scrubs, they said at the time maroon scrubs, so I went on Amazon and bought a top and a bottom, 2 pairs of maroon scrubs, had to hem the bottoms because I'm a short person, and then you had to buy a stethoscope and a blood pressure cuff, and you had to buy a manual one so that you could learn how to take them. So this one was mine. This was from Walmart. It came with a stethoscope, but I took the stethoscope off because it sucked. So I just needed the blood pressure cuff. And then my neighbor kindly let me borrow her stethoscope, which is a Littman. It's the Cardio 4. So let her, I have to give that back to her. But she let me borrow that, which is really nice because it's expensive, but it was nice. So then I'm looking down, I have notes. There, you know, I signed up with one of my friends, and it was the second Monday of January is when we started classes back up. So I was excited, and, you know, I was at work because I chose to only go to college. Like, I did online classes and I did one in-class class during the day. So I chose on Mondays to work. And so I was at work, and my friend who I applied with, she texted me saying, hey, they just changed the colors of the scrubs from maroon to gray. And I was like, well, they're telling us the day of class. Like, you know, that's ridiculous. So I was like, you know, that's fine, whatever. And she said, well, the lady said that we don't have to wear them to class. You know, that we'll be ordering from a lady that's coming to class. So I was like, okay, that's fine. And then, so I was waiting for the call to tell me that, you know, we, you know, didn't have to show up to class with our scrubs. Well, I got my call later that day around 1 o'clock. And it said, you know, I was still at work, so I couldn't pick up the phone. But she just said that I didn't make the class because somebody had messed up and took too many people into the class. So that was really nerve-wracking. And then, but there was another girl at my job that had also applied. So I went to her and asked her, because she had just come in, and she was only working for like 3 hours or something. And she said, yeah, that she got into the class, but she hadn't finished some of the paperwork. So she had to go and get that in, so she wasn't coming into work. So that kind of upset me, because I'd already paid in full, and I already had everything, and this girl had nothing, and she got into class. So I called back and kind of ranted and raved, but nothing ended up happening. I even talked to a few of my professors, and they went and tried to talk to the nursing people, but it was kind of a last minute thing that they had changed it at my college for the CNA, so it was just kind of up in the air, and nobody really knew what they were doing. So I had to wait, instead of starting in January, I had to wait till March to start, which I guess was okay, because we were still moving in, you know, still kind of settling in, like we still are settling in, and just trying to find our flow with things, I guess. So that happened, and so in March I started the class. There was 15 of us to start with, and then by the second day of class we were down by 2, and then by the end of class there was only 8 of us to graduate. There were only 2 guys in the class, everybody else were girls, and the first 2 that dropped, they were boyfriend and girlfriend, and it was hard. It was even hard for me to take that class, because I would have rather taken it in January when classes were starting and they weren't as hard, instead of starting it like midterm part, because if you weren't caught up in understanding what was going on in your classes, there was no way you could do both. So that was hard. And then also we did have, as in any class, there's people who want to be there and like really, really want it, and then there's people who were there just to be there. And I couldn't imagine for a $700 course, like just one class, not like multiple classes, for people to be acting like how they did in the first few weeks, while people were slowly dropping. But I did have a whole blog about this, so I will leave that linked down below for you. And go ahead and like this, because this is my first of this series. And in the next one, I'll kind of be talking about what we did in the class, what I thought was helpful for studying, and all of that stuff. Can somebody hit the button?